Hello, Janice.
Hello.
Hello,
Hi, good morning. How are you?
I'm fine. And for everybody else, this is Janice Muldoon, and I'm so pleased that she's able to spend some time with us talking to us today because Janice is very experienced, very kind, and I think she's going to be really interesting to listen to her story, but also how she helps older women to manifest their future income and also their joy and pleasure so that we can enjoy life. So, Janice, I'd really like to know a little bit more about you. Maybe you could start with just a brief description about your business.
Certainly, yes. So I'm business partners with my husband, and we have a business called One Result, and we do marketing and consulting services. So most of our clients would be coaches and consultants. So I have a lot of experience with women around my age that are reinventing themselves. You know, they've come to a point in their life where they've maybe had their career doing something, and then they want to get into helping other women, helping other people, getting into coaching and that. So it's really fulfilling for me to be able to help them on their journey to doing that.
Yes, and how do you do that? What is your business? How does your business run?
Well, most of the time, you know, with the day and age that we're in right now, we know that we need to be online. But a lot of people have the challenges of how do I start? What do I do? And that's where we come in. So our services range from anything from we would sell a modulated course that teaches people how to put a course together to sell online, all the way up to sort of done for you systems. So if we have, say, a coach that wants to take their business online using, you know, marketing, email automations, all of that lead generation to build up that audience, we basically take them through the whole journey from beginning to end.
So somebody who's changing their career or changing their genre and their whole outlook on life can really get some really good guidance. I think the thing is that a lot of women don't know where to start, especially if you've been embedded in a certain field of expertise for many years. And your company is One Result, isn't it?
It is,
And
yes.
I like that idea, the fact that you can come from a complex situation where you're not happy and you want to improve, and that there's an arm, if you like, or a route that you could take to secure another income, even if it's not exactly where you want to be. It's a start. I think a lot of women don't know where to start.
Yeah, well, that's where I think that we've had, you know, I'm happy to say we have had a lot of success with our business. And I think it's because we came from a coaching background ourselves. Mm-hmm. And then we've sort of, so we're still able to coach our clients through the process, but we can implement things at the same time so they don't have to go out and learn all of this. Because if you think about getting into a new business, say you're getting into coaching yourself or consulting or whatever the case may be, you want to focus on what you do best and how you can generate income doing that. You don't want to have to go out and learn how to use all this software and, you know, all of the stuff that goes with it.
I know.
Yeah, it's really, really time consuming. So yeah, that's where I think it's been a really good balance for us that we've got the coaching background so we can really help people find what their direction is or help them find that starting point.
So how was it for you then? Was this your background, your business background? Did you have that before, or have you come to?
I've reinvented myself a number of times, actually, and that's why I'm a big advocate of it. You know, I always feel like it's never too late to be doing what really, you know, excites you and fires you up. I started out as a hairdresser when I got out of school. I was a hairdresser for many, many years. Built up from starting out to owning my own salon, and then I came to the end of that career, and I actually was in real estate for a number of years before we moved over to the UK from Canada. As some of your viewers will probably detect my funny accent. So,
well, it's interesting. Yes, so you relocated as well.
Yes, and that was a massive, massive turning point because I was born, just to give you a really quick overview, I was born in Northern Ireland, but my parents emigrated to Canada when I was really young. So I lived there my whole life. but I would come, I live in Northern Ireland now, and we would come over on holidays a lot. And I just always loved it. So I came to a point in my life, my husband, fortunately, he loves it here as well. So we just went, you know what? Let's just do something different. Let's get out there and experience life. But it was a massive transition business-wise, because culturally it was very different, and we hadn't anticipated that. So yeah, us going from doing what we were doing there to coming over here and starting a business, it was a bit of an uphill challenge. It really was. But I'm happy to say, we stuck with it, and proof is in the pudding, isn't that what they say? We got a few clients and we got them the results that they were looking for, and then everything sort of clicked after that. But it's been a learning process.
Yes, and what you're also saying is that to some extent there is never an easy path, and if you've left school and gone into a career or had a family or anything, there's always ups and downs. And it's the same, isn't it, when we try to relocate, change our life in some way. And some of my clients make really big changes at a point when perhaps they're not feeling totally fit, when they're going through menopause, or they're having breakdowns, sort of relationship changes, and they're very unhappy or drained with their working situation. So to take on the kind of thing that you did, where you've relocated and set up a business and found the market quite different, is typical, isn't it? Is in the sense that it's a journey.
It's a journey, absolutely. The only thing that I could say is, for anybody that is wanting to make a change, and at this time in our lives, you just have to take a lot of time to take care of yourself too, because it can be absolutely exhausting. And you're at a time when your hormones are all over the place, and sometimes you're just like, what is going on? You feel exhausted, you feel like, oh, I can't do this. But for myself personally, I really have had to take the time, I think as an entrepreneur, we need to know when it's time to stop, because there's always something that can be done, right? But finding that work-life balance where you say, no, I'm not going to do any work this weekend, or I'm going to take half an hour out of my day to meditate or to go for a walk and clear my head. We really need to take the time to take care of ourselves, because we can't give if we're not fueling ourselves.
And isn't that part of the beauty of actually working for yourself, that you can actually manage your diary and manage your morning routine, or take that time out? I think a lot of people don't always expect to work so hard when they first start a new enterprise, whether it's a new job or a new business. But I think that for me as well, it was wonderful just to be able to manage your own time and your own diary, and that is important. So can I ask you about the kind of female attitude, the women that you come across these days, 2018, with all the changes in the economy, the globalization of businesses and the expectation for women to be very visible. How do you find women are coping with these kind of issues, if they're coming from, say, a corporate, or even if they're coming from being a homemaker? What's sort of coming up for you and your clients?
Well, I think it's a really positive thing. I find it quite funny, when you look at the world and you think, like you say, 2018, of where the world has come. I mean, the fact that we're even discussing whether women should be, equal opportunities and equal pay and stuff like that, it's just so archaic, isn't it, that it's even a topic. But what I think is wonderful is that I think it's only just helping to empower women more, that maybe, like you say, somebody that's, left their career to bring up a family and they've been at home, and they're emerging back out into the working world. I think it's amazing, because it's like anything is possible. You know what I mean? It's just like, really, not to be cliche, but I mean, it's so important when that self-talk and everything, that we don't limit ourselves, it's just so important to go, you know what, this is what I've always wanted to do. If it's something that you're excited about, if it's something that you're passionate about, you know, anything is possible in the world today. So I think it's fantastic.
I agree. I totally agree. I mean, I was 60 when I retired and started a business. I built it up when I was 59, anticipating leaving my job. And I feel younger and more vital since. But it's interesting what you say about the conditions that women find themselves in. And I think there is an idea of confidence that, although it takes a lot of confidence to make these changes, women are really more confident. Do you think that comes from the kind of support that's offered, maybe through social media particularly, or in general? What do you think about that?
Yeah, well, I do. I mean, I think that especially if you're surrounding yourself with the right kind of people, yeah, you know, I think because of technology and because of social media, the internet, all of that, information is so easily accessible now that people can see what's possible. You know what I mean? I think before, when we didn't have access to all this information, it was easier to go, oh, I couldn't do that, I couldn't possibly. But now you're just like, you're seeing success stories all over the place, and you're going, yeah, if that person could do that, why couldn't I? Why couldn't I be living the kind of life I want to live and doing things that really excite me and I get fired up about? So yeah, I think that's the most important thing for me. I think touching on the social media is connecting with people who really lift you up and inspire you, and not the people that are the, oh no, what if this happened, or, you know, the naysayers, I think, that are maybe in their comfort zone and don't want to see people, you know, they don't want to have a look at themselves. So surrounding yourself with positive people, I think, is one of the most important things you can do if you're, especially at a time where you're making big changes in your life.
And of course, a lot of women are in partnerships already. Now, I know that some of my clients find resistance from their partners when they're starting a new venture.
Yes.
But often they're thinking long term. And even if they're in a relationship and they have both got income coming in, anticipated income through pensions, the question these days is it going to be enough? Is it going to provide the self-care, for example, and things in the future? So I'm wondering, as you're in a relationship, if you're happy in your marriage and everything, how does that support help you? How have there been times when you have disagreed? How does that work when you're first starting up or first relocated? I mean, I don't want to be too personal, but the women that might be suffering or having these challenges themselves, you know, what advice could you possibly give them?
Well, I think that, you know, being in a Brian and I've been together for 20 years. We've been married for 18 years. We haven't always been, obviously, like I said, when I started out, we were both doing different things. But being in business together and being married, you really do have to be, I mean, you know, yes, there's times where you're ready to throttle each other. I'm not going to lie about that. You know, it's like with any business relationship. You have to be very supportive of one another if you're going to make it work. But on the other side of things, you also have to know when work time is over. You know what I mean? We have to rein ourselves in, because there's a lot of times, you know, it's a Saturday and you're taking the dog out for a walk, and then the next thing you realize you've been talking about work for the last hour. But as far as other people, I would say that are maybe making a change, like you said, they're in a relationship, they're in a marriage, and they're looking at making a massive change and how that could impact them financially. Yeah, it's a big consideration, and certainly I could understand why the other partner might be going, geez, but we could be set up here if you didn't do this. But, you know, the bottom line is, I keep going back to it, you know, we never want to look back with regret, do we? And wish that we had taken a chance to do something different, to do something really exciting for the sake of, you know, financial security. Because I think if you really go after what you want to do, and you're smart about it, you should be able to have the sort of success where that's not going to be an issue. Or you have to go in believing that, or else, you know, it'll never happen.
Yeah, and we do need to have that sense of optimism, don't we, when we embark on anything?
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to go in, half fired up. Everything that I've ever done, and I'm not saying I'm an expert on business.
Think you
I
are.
have had a number of different, sorry, that sounded kind of silly. I have had a number of different careers, and whenever I've embarked on something, it's always been 100%, because I can't do anything any other way. You have to go, I'm going to go for this. I'm going to try to be the very best that I can be at it. And you go all in, you know what I mean? That's where the success comes from. It's like what you said earlier, a lot of times people don't anticipate when starting a new business, the amount of effort and time that goes into it, that, you really have to pay your dues up front, but it's all worth it in the end. Like you said, you get to choose the days in your diary. If you go, I want to take a Wednesday off and go do whatever, you don't have to answer to anybody. So that's the lovely part about it.
I think that sums it up really, Janice, for me, especially, is that if you are tired and fatigued and overwhelmed in your role at the moment, and you're considering starting again, or you've just started something and you're wondering whether you've done the right thing, because you're thinking about the future, then that self-care and managing your diary does make a huge difference to your well-being. And it's a completely different life, isn't it? It's a completely different mindset as well, which you're a great ambassador for.
Absolutely. That's what it's all about is, and whenever things are tough, I think just reflecting on the good parts about it, or things that you really get to enjoy about what you're doing in your work. And it's not even necessarily, I'm not saying this is all about people that are self-employed. This is, in your career. Like if you're in a career working for a company and you're very happy doing what you're doing, that's fantastic. But it all still does come back to making sure that you're taking care of yourself. You're not burning yourself out. So, you can have the time to enjoy the things you like doing.
I think some people actually take on second incomes or second opportunities, that they turn their hobbies into a paying venture, so that they can continue the job that they've always loved and have great expertise in. So yes, it's not always a do or die. It can be that you can have all of it. So I'm just wondering if we could just finish then on what do you think you're seeing with women in their expectation for the future on perhaps a global level, or just in the future in general for their daughters and for other women in their families? Because a lot of the women at the moment in this past 4, 5, 10 years have been quite, leaders, forerunners, aren't they? And
yes,
they're being joined by so many others. I wonder what your clients are particularly sort of thinking about in terms of globalization and women's roles in the future.
Well, I think that, again, it goes back to what I said earlier. I think because we have access to so much information now, the world has become a smaller place, and it really just backs up what I was saying earlier, that absolutely anything is possible. You can live anywhere. You can take on any role you want to. There's absolutely nothing. The only thing that's holding you back is, your own thoughts. If you don't believe that you can do it. But, with this, yes, I think this new generation of women coming up now, they'll be like, they would think that these conversations are insane, that they couldn't, that there's anything they couldn't do, because they're being brought up in an era where, the possibilities are endless. So I think it's an amazing time for young women. Absolutely.
Wonderful. I'm quite excited because I think, the laptop life and the beach with your coffee and your and yoga and then some work is a realistic opportunity for many people. So especially if we're getting older, and as we're aging and we're looking at perhaps downsizing our activities and pacing ourselves differently, it's a good opportunity. And so I would love you to finish to invite people to come and have a look at your business and your website, because obviously it's a tool.
Absolutely.
For the
Yes.
future.
Yeah. I mean, if there's anybody out there that's listening that would like to just have a chat about where they're going with their careers, if they're like I said, 90% of the clients that we work with are coaches or consultants, experts, authors in that sort of space. Absolutely. If you want to get your message out there, if you want to create a course to sell online or start a membership site, anything like that. So you can just go to one-result.com. And yeah, get in touch with us. Absolutely. We'll be coming into the autumn here. We're going to start running some more workshops. Okay. So yeah, so we're looking at probably coming over to London sometime in the autumn and putting on a workshop there with a group of people. So we're looking forward to that, because it's always nice. As much as we love doing stuff online, it's always nice connecting with people, you know, on a face-to-face level. So absolutely. So we'll be posting that up on our website soon as well.
That's fantastic. And do send me a link and I'll post it for you as well.
I will.
I do agree. It's again, the beauty is you don't have to be face-to-face all the time, and you don't have to be on the internet all the time. You can have a balance of how the different methods of working. And yeah, so I think that's brilliant. So I'm sure a lot of the people, if you're listening to this interview and you've been fascinated by what Janice has said, we call them the Muldoons.
The Muldoons.
Brian and Janice Muldoon, and, affectionately, of course. And the Muldoons are here and they're coming to London. So if you found anything that Janice says very interesting, do please go and have a chat with her. You'll find some great insight and some answers. So anyway, thank you very much, Janice. Janice Muldoon from one-result.com, and I'll see you later. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.